Hey, it's Josh, and I just got back from a Sonoran Desert adventure in the Valley of the Sun, where I got to ride a hot air balloon, go hiking among the cacti, and even kayak down a stream in the desert. I'm going to show you all of that and everything else I got up to right now. So I flew from rainy Vancouver, British Columbia to beautiful sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and my first stop was at our first hotel, the Andes Scottsdale Resort and Spa. So this is set within 22.5 acres of desert oasis in these cute little rooms, bungalows, I don't know what you call them exactly, but they were spacious and beautiful. And check out this shower. I was really missing my boyfriend at this point, but he couldn't come with me on this trip. Instead, I was meeting up with some other LGBT people who are press or media. Speaking of which, I hung out with them for the evening. We had some delicious, tasty treats and drinks. This was in the Weft and Warp Art Bar and Kitchen right in the hotel. And then the next day, we got up for a hike. So we were going along the Gateway Trail Loop in the Mcdowell Sonoran Preserve. It's a 4.5-mile loop, and there's all kinds of course, amazing cacti to see and other plants. Our tour guide warned us not to touch anything and showed us exactly why, but it was just a beautiful hike. And then from there, we went kayaking, which who would have thought you would do this in the desert, but you can. So we hiked along Salt River, and we even saw some wildlife, like some wild horses. I just couldn't get a shot because for most of it, I had my phone in a waterproof bag. But every now and then we'd take it out and get a few shots until it looked like I was gonna tip us over. And then it was back to the hotel to go to the Palo Verde Spa and apothecary, I think you say. Basically what you do is you answer some questions and then they put together like a customized blend of oils to massage you with. Pretty fancy. And then there was even a private area outside of the change room where it was clothing optional to go in the hot tub. So I did a bit of that before we caught our ride, that one over there. Put on some accessories to go on a beer crawl with the Arizona Brewery Tours. So our first stop was at the Helton Brewing Company. That was Mr. Helton himself, serving us up 4 different beers to try. I didn't drink all of this, I just kind of tasted each one because we had a lot of beer to get through, although they did give us some food. Our next stop was Mother Bunch, where they gave us a ton of tasty treats and 5 different beer to try out. That macaroni and cheese has actually been rated the world's best macaroni and cheese, and it was just rich and creamy and delicious. And there was a lot of beer to drink. Again, I didn't drink it all. And then we went to OHSO to have our last 4 samples of beer. By this point, I was getting pretty full of beer and food, even though they supplied us with a whole bunch more, just in case we were hungry. And then we finished off the night at BS West, because, we were thirsty. Why not have another drink and a little bit of dancing before getting up the next day to have breakfast by the pool at the hotel, and then head out to this really unique spot called Cattle Track. This is where a bunch of artists kind of live in residence and work, and so we got to meet a bunch of the artists, see a bunch of their art, goof around a bit. It was really cool and unique. And then we headed out for lunch to the Mission at Kierland Commons. So this is sort of a modern Latin fusion cuisine, and they have avocado margaritas. I'm not even sure how to explain to you what it tastes like. You just have to experience it to understand it. So we had some tacos, and then we went from there to an insights tour of Frank Lloyd Wright's Taliesin West. So Frank Lloyd Wright is, of course, an iconic architect who, with his apprentices in the 1930s, built this place like literally out of the desert, just gathering rocks from the desert floor, sand from the washes. Also, he could keep the design in balance with the surrounding environment. It was beautiful, and it was also really hot out. From there, we headed to our second hotel, which was the Valley Ho. So this is a pretty iconic hotel for downtown Scottsdale. It originally opened in 1956. It's mid-century modern architecture. The spacious room with a bathtub kind of in the middle, very retro feeling. And it has a cute little patio as well. So we dropped off our stuff and headed out along the Scottsdale Art Walk to have some wine tasting. Our first stop was at Aridus Wine Company. It's a family-owned Custom Crush Winery where we got to sample some of their wines, and then head on out to another place for some more wine tasting. This was Carlson Creek Tasting Room. It's just been around since July 2016. It's in a former art gallery. We got to taste some of their creations. and then head out for dinner to F&B. And I am serious when I say this, you have got to go to this place if you go to Phoenix. Holy crap, was the food ever good. This chef is known for her elevated vegetable creations, and each dish was more delicious than the last. I could not get enough, and the desserts were like to die for. Also to die for was getting up at 3:30 in the morning the next day. We actually did that because we wanted to go on a hot air balloon ride. So we were going with hot air expeditions, and the way with hot air balloons work, you gotta go at a certain time of day and you have to see how the conditions are. So we had to get up really early, but it was so worth it. We got to watch them blow up and expand the balloon and then hop into the basket, and it was such a cool, smooth ride. There were a couple people on this that really weren't fans of heights, but they really enjoyed it as well. I was surprised just like how calm and serene the whole thing was. It was just beautiful scenery. Like, where else can you get views like this all around you? And it was the weather was perfect. It was just nice and quiet, other than when he's blowing all the hot air into the balloon. But I loved going on this hot air balloon ride. It was so much fun. And then even the coming down, the landing was just so smooth. I really didn't expect it all to be so calm and relaxed. And wherever we landed, that's where they met up with us to give us our delicious little breakfast, even with some mimosas. So that was a great start to the day. And then it was back to the Hotel Valley Ho, where we had a bit of free time. So I decided to put on my bathing suit and soak up a bit of sun at the pool before going to have lunch at Zuzu in the hotel, where I just had a light summery lunch of a smoothie and a salad with some avocado and some tuna. And from there we went to the Musical Instrument Museum. This is actually ranked Phoenix's #1 attraction on TripAdvisor, and it's one of the top 4 best museums for families nationwide from US Today Travel. So it's unlike any kind of museum I've seen before. They basically separate the different types of instruments and history from the music of different continents. You also can see all this different collectibles and memorabilia from different artists. It was really interesting, a very cool experience. And then from there we went to check into our third and final hotel, which is Mountain Shadows. And I mean, check out this view in the lobby. That's basically their backyard. So I went down to check into my room. It's big and beautiful and spacious. It has an amazing shower as well. It's got these cement floors, really high ceilings, a nice little patio area. And then we went and had dinner in the restaurant at this place called Hearth 61. So they have seasonal American fare with lots of local organic ingredients, food that is just very simple but beautiful. Look at the presentation of all these dishes, and some very interesting cocktails. That one had beet juice and chai tea syrup. So that was a delicious dinner. I shared all this food. I did not eat all of this. Okay, I just tasted it all. And then from there we went to Charlie's. So this is the hottest country and dance music club in Phoenix. It's large, big outdoor area, good dance floor. So we had some fun there. A little bit of drag show. And then I decided to start my next day with just a healthy drink from the restaurant in the hotel before we headed to the Desert Botanical Garden, where we were greeted by some wildlife. This place has the world's finest collection of arid land plants from deserts around the world. We're talking more than 50,000 of them, all kinds of cacti and flowers and wildlife. Just so much to see here. We had a guide teaching us about everything we were looking at, and then we went to the Heard Museum. So this has the region's native cultures and art throughout it, so we could learn about American Indians of the Southwest. And also they have this exhibit of Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera. So there was just so much to see and learn about and absorb before going for lunch to Barrio Urbano at the Yard. This is a really unique area, and we got to have more tableside guacamole, which was so good with the pomegranate seeds and this cheesy deliciousness, and then a really spicy chipotle chicken. Oh my gosh, it was good. And from there we went on a driving tour of downtown Phoenix. So Phoenix Rising Tour Company showed us around. They explained everything we were looking at, lots of the history about the area, people who've lived in the area and things that have changed in the area. So that was really interesting. We also got to get out of the bus and check out this really cool back alley just filled with beautiful paintings and graffiti. Pretty amazing. And then quickly get back to the hotel to soak up the last bit of sun in the pool, because check out the pool here. How beautiful is that? and a nice little hot tub section as well as the sun went down before going to eat some more, because we don't do nearly enough of that. This patio is awesome. The sunset, this like cooling mist, the gayest drink you've ever seen, and lots of tasty treats. Again, I shared this food. This was not all mine. I just sampled it all to make sure it was all good, and it definitely was. It's a contemporary approach to Italian cooking. An amazing dessert too. And then finish off our night at The Rock, where we got to see the Barbara Seville show. So Richard Stevens has been doing this character for 20 years now. It's a mix of comedy, some awesome drag performances by her friends. That is Mr. Phoenix Pride 2017. So we watched the show, some crazy impressions that were pretty bang on, a few drinks, and then heading out for our last day to have brunch at the Hash Kitchen. So check out this lady here. Yes, Mama work it. So the DJ played music. She was like the hostess that entertained us. And they have this build your own Bloody Mary bar. That is even pickled cactus. There were so many different things that you could put into your Bloody Mary. It was quite the creation before having our proper meal, which was so tasty. That's some monkey bread as like a cinnamon bun. It was all a very tasty way to wrap up my trip. And that was my Sonoran Desert adventure. I had such a great time. Definitely consider checking out Phoenix and Scottsdale if you're looking for somewhere warm to go that's cool and different. I'll leave links to everything that I did in the description down below. Make sure you leave a comment down there as well, letting me know where you think I should check out next, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye!